For those of you in the audience that can lip read,
I was wondering if it was just me who couldn't hear John, or if I'm over here checking my headset, like what the fuck is
I
going
heard
on?
I heard a noise that indicated that you were raising your volume, which led me to believe that it was multiple people besides me that couldn't hear John, and
I
that's when I.
like your deduction.
Thank you,
That
sir.
was very good. I'm ready to take lead on this introduction, although
Dude,
mine's
roll.
never as good as John's. I just feel like we got to see what he's got going
You
on.
switched up the office layout a little bit,
What do you mean?
or maybe
I,
your camera's reversed.
I got to remirror my camera.
I think it's just flips.
There you go.
There we go. Okay, we're back to
Better?
normal copy.
Better? Well, anyway, welcome to Let's Talk Real Estate. My name is Brandon. I am not John. This is a substitute introduction. We are here to talk about anything and all things real estate and stuff, life, what's going on in our businesses. I
I
am
see.
Brandon. Oh, we got John back. John, you want to take lead on this? Because I'm
No,
sure
you're doing so great. I don't want to waste our audience's precious time with.
Okay.
You're
I
good.
am Brandon from TED SysOps and REI Ops Center. We got Carlos from Investor Fuse and Carrot, along with John from Investor Fuse and Carrot. We are here to talk to you today about preparing for the end of the year and stuff. Meanwhile, before we dive into it, don't forget to like and subscribe. We're trying to boost our subscribers as always, and we want to make sure we're providing you valuable content. What's going on, guys?
Happy end of the week. It's been a week of Google Chrome problems and
Yeah.
technical issues, and I'm glad we're here and I can talk to you guys. So, huzzah!
I got back from Arkansas.
Yeah, how was your trip?
Collected a lot of rent in cash, a lot of cash. If anyone follows any of my
Is
social
this your
media,
new park
you
that you're collecting rent and cash?
both. Yeah. Then it's always like that whenever you take over. It's gonna be a few months, man. It's gonna be a few months. I had to knock on a lot of doors and talk to people. Some people happy about it, some people not. Um, People thinking I'm gonna level the. I changed the name of my park. It was a Raleigh Mobile Home Park. There is a casino next door named after an Indian chief and a lake in the area called Saracen Casino and Resort. I strategically renamed my park Saracen Mobile Home Park and RV Park. And when I did that, everyone thought the casino bought it and was going to tear it down. So I had to go explain to people that I am not affiliated with the casino, just tactical
Just
marketing
tacking onto
strategy.
their SEO.
Yeah, exactly. Um, so it was good. We have a lot of stray cats and stray dog problems that I got to deal with at both parks, actually. A lot of people feeding these
That's
animals.
not good.
So.
That's an interesting problem or obstacle for a landlord to have.
When you take over a mobile home park, right, there's always it's like taking over. I always equate it to taking over like a country, how the Roman Empire came in and they would just annihilate people. They'd wipe it out because they wanted to institute, they didn't want any people fighting back. They wanted to basically set their own standards and they wanted no uprising basically from the upper class, the upper crust. So it's kind of the same thing. You got a lot of people who are so used to what the old regime was doing that I got to lay down the law. And I had to do that this week. I was dealing with people who were taking advantage of the old owners. They got one guy, he's got a contract with the city, and he's in my RV pad, and he's got two RVs that he's not paying for sitting in two other RV pads that he didn't feel like he should have to pay because no one's inside of them. None of his crew is inside of them. And then he's got seven of his work trucks, like pole trucks, the guys that go up with the wire and set
Yeah.
the wire. So I got seven pole trucks plus three trailers plus spools of wire sitting in the back acreage of my lawn.
Mm.
And I told this guy that he's got to pay for that, and he was pissed off about it. He doesn't
Mm-hmm.
feel like he should pay. I'm like, bro, this is a business. I was like, if you tried going anywhere else, you're paying for storing. That's a part of your bid, right? Like you're getting a contract to do work for the city or the utility company. You
Mm-hmm.
should be pricing in where am I? I'm coming from Tennessee. Where am I going to park my trucks? Where am I going to stay? How much am I going to pay? Come on, dude. So
So wait, this is a thing. Electrical companies travel and do contract work.
I never knew it until I got into the RV space and I started really researching RV pads. So It's a huge thing. So anybody looking at mobile home park RV parks are. I made a tweet about it that I think RV parks are where mobile home parks were in the '70s. Instead of you traveling away from your family or away from your home and having like a physical house and going to do all these bids across the state or in different uh, across different states, they basically contractors they bring an RV with them.
Hmm.
They have their truck, they tow an RV behind them,
Mm-hmm.
and they park it in an RV pad in whatever city or county that they're doing the work in, and they live there. Like this guy's been there for the past 6 months, he said, and he's probably leaving sometime January when his contract is up. I got two other guys in two other spots doing similar type of work, but only different stuff. Like one guy lays the line, the other guy is removing. I don't know, but
Interesting.
so this is what they do, and they travel around. And not only that, but the crew, like the guy ahead of the company, and then he brings his crews with him. So one guy told me that if I change over some of my other lots to 50 amp, not trying to get technical, but I add 50 amperage to my outlets, he'll bring 7 or 8 more guys when he re-ups his contracts and fill my mobile home park. And I'm like, bro, if you're telling me you're going to sign on for almost another year with 7 or 8 other guys and you're going to be long term, if I just pay to upgrade my utilities, like I could do that. Let me know when you sign that new contract.
Mm-hmm. That's really interesting. Is
But
it
either
like
way, they got to pay for their trucks was the thing. And the one
yeah?
got the one company was okay with it. He said if he couldn't find somewhere else cheaper to park them, he would definitely pay, no problem. The other guy arguing with me and negotiating prices with me.
So the
Which
guy
we
that was
came to an
arguing is the
agreement.
one leaving in January.
And we came to an agreement, a discounted agreement, under the understanding that he will be leaving in January, and this is just for him to pay to keep his shit there for December.
Mm. Man, the stuff you'll learn, right?
It's interesting, but it's definitely worth it. I'm glad I got into the RV park stuff, so
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
I
Anyway,
hear you.
those are my updates. Follow me along on my social media. You'll see all the crazy stories and drama happening in the parks as we go along.
You're a multi-park owner now.
I
into
am
2023.
working on my third one right now.
Nice.
I talked to a guy that I'm partnering with that's going to help us raise the funds that we need because we're doing quite a bit. It's a much bigger park. And I got him, he said yes. So we're now getting rolling. My third park is a go, and we close at the end of February.
Dang, dude.
Oh, yeah.
So you got it under contract already?
Yeah, it's been under contract. Problem is I had some issues with due diligence, and I'm finishing that up. And then raising the money, I got to raise like 1.4 mil to do everything I want to do. And on the last two parks, I have tapped out quite a bit of my network that I have built up. And it's just where am I getting the money from? That's always the question.
Is
So
this
I
the
made a
park where
connection.
they were like misleading you on rent rolls and stuff? Okay. The two guys who just got it at auction, right?
Oh yeah, they're making bank, bro. Good for them. Good for them. But yeah, so anyway, that should be a go. I mean, barring any, and there's always something that could pop up. I mean, we could not raise the funds. We could have some crazy catastrophe happen during the rest of my due diligence. I find something out that I back out. But otherwise, everything's looking good where we would be moving forward with it. So that'll put us at 3.
Super exciting times for you, buddy. I'm excited for you.
Thanks, man.
Likewise. What else is going on this week, Papa P? We got some crypto enthusiasts probably pretty happy with Bitcoin and other.
Oh, did Bitcoin come back from the dead?
Bitcoin is back up over 40K.
Oh man,
I don't know where it's at today. Ethereum's up. I mean, I'm still hodling strong. I got no complaints. Portfolio's looking nice.
Why is Bitcoin and other crypto bouncing up real fast?
It happens, man.
Just nobody can like point to a contributing factor.
I'm not deep into it to be able to give you that information. My knowledge does not span that far in today's time. I've been so focused on my RV parks and mobile home parks and stuff. I have not dived into that other than the alerts happening on my phone. But it's one of those things where I literally buy it and then I don't really care what happens to it for the next like decade. It's not something I'm trading actively. I just buy and hold like a good old mobile home park.
Like a good old home park. Interesting. Hadn't heard that crypto was doing well.
Yeah, crypto's doing well. Um, yeah, but got an update on my. I will do an update on my leads if you don't mind before we dive in for the
Please.
end of the year.
Your PPL leads?
My PPL.
Yeah.
So I'm hooked into all three. Investor Fusel's been great getting me set up in my CRM, and we've got all three of them rolling. I'm getting pounded with leads from them. You know, obviously I set my limits, but still it's good to see. We're sending one contract out on, not signed yet, but we're sending one contract out on property leads. Motivated lead, I put a pause on because I requested a refund and I hadn't gotten a response from them because I passed their deadline, but I finally got the person on the phone and said they didn't fill out the form. They never wanted to sell, yada, yada, yada. So I messaged them and said, hey, like, I can't figure out, like, my refund option is gone. Like, can I please get a refund? And they did refund me. I sent them a call recording link. I got that alert today that they refunded me. So I put their account live again. I felt that was good business. I was very happy with that they didn't try to stick me because I was past some arbitrary date when I gave them the proof that it wasn't a valid lead. Um, I got no complaints on the leads at all. It's a much different conversation coming from them versus my cold call stuff. So I'm pumped to see how it goes. Like, even if I'm not getting, I don't have anything signed today or an assignment fee or anything, I can just tell you the attitude of them is different. Um, if that makes sense, like, it's just talking, the conversation flow is much different than the argumentative nature of, well, you called me, you messaged me. Like, it is truly a less depressing and less burnt out sales thing, which I could see how people scale more with it.
Mm-hmm. That's exciting though that you got one contract in the works potentially.
In the works, we'll see if they sign, but it's innovation, but we'll see. um, I was talking to someone today and saying they're getting a 3x ROI on their PPL stuff.
Oh, that's a good
They're trying,
ROI based off of what we were talking about last week.
yeah, other people are at what, like 2x, so he's
Yeah.
at 3. And I guess it really just comes down to, like, your
Market and
overhead.
luck.
Well, yeah, but I was gonna say overhead as to whether 3 is good or bad. 3 could be phenomenal if it's just you on the phone, right? But
Right.
if you got this bloated team, you're paying 10% commissions, you have follow-up people and staff. And I saw one guy made a post about $10,000 a month office expense. Like,
Just
rent.
the rent.
Just the rent.
Why would you
And
be
I'm
in an
making that
office
assumption.
like that?
Hang on. I'm making the assumption it was just the rent. He uses the word expense, so it could include utilities. I don't really know. I made the assumption that it's just rent. But if you have that, like, 3x would probably not be cool.
No, it would not. It would not. Gotta keep the costs down. I thought commercial rent was pretty cheap. What are they paying 10
He's got a massive office. Like, his office is up in a high-rise building. He's got looks to be, I would imagine, maybe 5,000 square feet or bigger. It looks pretty big. I mean, I don't know personally, but
it's a massive office.
Mm-hmm.
But I think going into preparing for the end of the year, to tie it into it, I think you really need to look at where your costs are going in. And I'm not saying you never want to cut your expenses. You always want to focus on making more money, right? You don't have an expense problem, you have an income problem type of thing. But at the same point, like, one of the things when I revamped my whole team, John knows, was I was getting blasted on costs that I allowed to get out of control for the sake of trying to scale a bigger team without really focusing on how much margin I was making and what I really needed to make.
Yeah.
I mean, if you could do $2 million or $1.5 million as a solopreneur and you're keeping 50% of that in your pocket, why are you trying to grow a team? Just bank that money, buy some real estate, scale into your next thing, because wholesaling ain't your life.
I'm going to ask you a question, Papa P. And this is a business idea. So if a viewer out there steals it from me, I guess that's on me for talking about it live in a podcast. I read a post from somebody that we met a long time ago at a real estate event. He's a marketing guy, like runs and has sold successful ad agencies.
Smart guy.
Super smart guy. And so he made a post of, like, somebody asked me, is it too late to start an ad agency? And he said, it's not too late, but it is. There are a lot of ad agencies out there. It'll be hard. Here are 3 other types of agencies that I think people should be starting. And one of them was an attrition agency. So the whole goal of this agency is not to run your ads, but to determine the ROI of your ads and do the analytics and the KPIs for your marketing. So I was like, you know what? That is the one thing that every real estate investor knows they need, but does not enjoy compiling, checking, analyzing, and then determining what decisions they should make based off of that information. Do you think there would be value in like somebody who's in a company that's an expert at doing real estate investing ROI on your campaigns and just as all your analytics and tracking for you?
Yes and no. I think it's a great theory, and now this is just my personal opinion. I think it's a great theory, and I think in the world of if you paint the picture of a future of wholesaling being a bigger company game, then yes, you'll probably it'll be a very niche clientele, very small.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're going to make a crazy living off if you're just talking wholesalers and investors.
Right.
But the one thing, I mean, I just got done talking about it. Like, my job is to minimize my expenses with unnecessary stuff. So if I could do it on my own and do it 60% as well as you,
yeah,
I'm gonna do it on my own. Like, I don't see the need for that. If I got my Plecto going and I got my transaction software that keeps tabs of some KPIs, and I have my marketing one or my CRM, yeah, and maybe I hire a VA to do it and I just wing it with that. And like, if I'm performing well, but it depends on how much you're gonna charge. The one thing we all know is real estate investors are always looking at ways to make more money. Yeah, make more money.
Yeah,
I just don't think we're the right demographic for it because your top line isn't as high to support all these other things. I'm not even talking about margin. I'm talking top line.
Yeah.
Companies may operate in 20 to 30% margin, but if I'm only making $1 to $2 million, only bringing home 200 to 400K, 500K a year, and now you want to charge me another 50 to 70K to run that whole thing for me and really tell me how to make more money, how much more can I make as the average investment company? Now, again, if I'm making $20 million, it's a much different thing. I'm bringing home 2 to 4 million now. So it really goes down. I think our industry is one of which that doesn't generally have a big top line.
No.
Now, again, you're going to have your heavy hitters and you're going to have your people who diversified in other businesses. And for them, that's probably going to be important. So I just think you're looking at the wrong industry for something like that.
Interesting.
I'm with Papa P mainly on that. The first thought is like kind of like an accountant that's like doing your refunds or like optimizing your tax returns. Like, there almost needs to be enough delta in what you're making back after paying the accountant, where it's like a hell yeah customer experience where you're using them year after year and telling your friends about them. So for our industry, I don't know, it would almost have to be somebody that just works with like an individual company as part of their role, maybe, or maybe they're able to
I mean, I'd rather have it in-house.
Like,
have someone specialized in-house. I just don't have the money. Because in order for you to make money, you got to be charging a good bit because you're not going to have 1,000 customers, right?
Yeah. It would be impossible to have 1,000 customers because it would be heavy manual work. Per se, I mean, there might be some AI that could help out, but yeah.
I've talked to like 3 people in the past week or 2, and we've all had generally the same conversation about scaling back operations to improve their margins based on what they thought, like what scaling meant versus what actually happened, and how they're making less money, which again, you expect that, but you can make less money. Your top line has to. You it's all about where your top line and your percent margin is. And if you're paying too much because you scaled too much staff, and a lot of those SMSers had that problem. You needed a lot of people to manage those lower quality leads. So I think going into the new year, a lot of people are definitely reevaluating their expenses and what it means to have a team. And like, do I need all of these people? What does it mean to have 3 follow-up specialists or like 6 acquisition guys? Like, why do I need, if they're not hitting their metrics, but if they're hitting their metrics, bro, and they're getting their 2 contracts a week, then you're probably not really considering it, right? We're not having that combo, but I think a lot of people are having that combo with themselves. So
Yeah. I think every business should be having that convo with themselves as we go into
and it ain't easy. It ain't
Yeah.
easy. Take it from someone who's been through it.
Yeah. Agreed. Well, hey, it is currently December 8th. The end of the year is coming up, and there's a few things to kind of discuss around, that as it relates to real estate, to SaaS software. But I have a question, Papa P. Are you
I'm getting hit up
guys
with all kinds of questions.
Are you guys doing the what was it thing you need or want?
Yeah, so we added on to it.
Okay.
Excuse me as I dab my electrolytes into my drink here.
That's a tiny little scooper.
Yeah, so we've upped it to 7 gifts. So it was a big hit, and I think I talked about it the last time on the last episode with Carlos or whatever.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
I missed
honestly, huge gift, huge hit. Like my daughter this year, she's 17. She made an elaborate PowerPoint with links. Everything. Like, I'm so proud of her. Obviously, these book reports I make her do are really come and do, but I guess main thing is the intention behind the gifts is a lot better. So it's something you need, something you want, something to read, and something to wear. Those were the initial 4 we did last year. We gauged the kids' reactions. There was no disappointment. Once they understood the meaning behind it, the excitement, because they knew they had to pick certain things and they really had to decide what they wanted versus the years before where it was just like, get me whatever. And then as parents, you're rushing around, John, like,
oh yeah,
is this enough? Like, I should get this. And you just start adding shit on to make it seem like you've got them what they want, when really none of what you got could be what they want.
Right. It's tricky.
So this year we added on 3 more, right? Something for me, which in our family is a personalized ornament. So every year they get an ornament. So we just made that part of it. So there's a Christmas store in Clearwater we go to. They pick out their ornament and they get to hang it on their tree on Christmas. And then something for the family, which is something they have to pick a gift that the whole family can share.
Like a board game or something?
A board game, or maybe an outdoor activity like a soccer net, or, but it's not theirs specifically. Right. With it 4 kids, like, it belongs to any one of the kids can use it, or dad. Hopefully they pick stuff that I like. And then something to do, which is like an activity, maybe tickets to the museum, tickets to the zoo, tickets if you're up north. Big up north thing when we were kids was like tickets to this local ski mountain, like ski Round Top or whatever, go skiing or snowboarding.
To go.
Yeah. Oh, did you? Yeah, bro, that was right down the road from me.
Round Top, Seven Springs, Ski Liberty.
Seven Springs. That was over near Pittsburgh. We used to hit that up. Me and my roommate used to drive over to Seven Springs on the weekend to snowboard during college. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I was around Top. I was on skis since I was 5 years old. Yeah, me and Papa P have we share some locations. He's like originally a South Florida guy, then went up Mid-Atlantic, then came back down, and I'm originally Mid-Atlantic guy, and then came down to South Florida.
There's a real shitty one. What is it called? Whitetail?
Whitetail, yeah.
Yeah. I remember when I worked in DC, I drove up to it because it was the closest one, and the mountain was so small. Yeah. And I wanted to snowboard. I was like, well, all right, this will have to do. But it's up towards like Cumberland, Maryland area or whatever. Yeah.
That's so funny. Funny story. The posting for my first job out of college was wholesaling with Dan Schwartz, another InvestorFuse partner, and or another co-founder with John. And I had graduated college. The only real job I applied for was pharmaceutical sales rep, selling like insulin, indirect selling, doctors, and the doctor would prescribe it. I was like, oh, this is gonna be fulfilling. I didn't get that job. I had heard of this guy, Dan, like flipping houses, no money, no credit. I didn't know what wholesaling was, of course. It's like 2012 into 2013.
No one knew what it was in 2012.
I was on a ski lift at Round Top. And my sister, whose husband was in a rock band with Dan, shows me a Facebook post, and she's like, "Hey, this is my real estate investor friend that flips houses, like no money, no credit, looking for like an inside sales rep." So literally, I was on a ski lift when I messaged Dan at Round Top. to talk
Yeah.
about wholesaling, start wholesaling with him.
It's a small world, but something like that, right? Because that's a big thing when you live up north, skiing, snowboarding, mountain tickets, they're expensive. So getting something like that. So anyway, that's what we added on this year.
Love it, dude.
Again,
Those are awesome.
it's huge stuff, but like, you know, it's just, and so again, everyone's excited. Getting a lot of feedback from what they want. My son thinks he's getting a fucking TV or a phone. He's 8 years old. I'm like, I don't know if Santa, you know, Santa's not bringing an 8-year-old a TV, but you put it on your list, bro. Like, you do that.
Have you guys ever been to the snow tubing? Obviously, for
Snowcat?
population. Is that what it's called? We just
Yeah,
learned about it, like over Dade City or something like that.
Yeah, I've heard mixed reviews on it.
The website looks phenomenal, but the prices
does.
also are phenomenal.
It does. I watched last year. I watched a YouTube influencer do like an, you know, he personally did it, and you went along on his trip.
Yeah.
And it's basically, yeah, I mean, yeah, they try, but it's
trying to make
nothing.
snow tubing happen in Florida.
Yeah, and it's like that's a problem, right? And then they have this igloo or whatever you could go in where they make snow essentially, and they're really trying. And I could see for somebody, but do I want that to be my son's first view of snow?
Yeah.
Nah, bro.
Yeah.
Like I don't want him to see that and be like, "Oh, I've seen snow." We'll take him up north at some point.
Yeah, it was snowing up north this week, according to
we missed it by a week, bro. We missed it. We were at Penn State for my daughter's college campus tour, and my son was hoping it would snow, and then 1 week after we left, it snowed, and yeah, we missed it by a week.
Bad luck right there. Very cool.
In a family mastermind Zoom yesterday, Pace Morgan was talking about I guess like building community, and he said the best example of that is study Penn State, how they like self-identify, like we are Penn State, and just how they work with the alumni and build in that whole tradition. He's like, if you want a master class on building community, he's like, follow everything Penn State does.
It was very different versus the other my old school, right? So Penn State's whole thing is we are Penn State, and St. Francis's is become that someone. They really focus on you becoming great. We're Penn State, and we got that vibe. Penn State's like, it's not about you becoming great. Like, we want to further our greatness. And so there's a huge difference there. And my daughter's really weighing those things as she's looking at what school to go to. But Penn State is, bro, you walk down campus just for fun. Say the word, we are Penn State. And then you do it 3 times. You say thank you. They say you're welcome. It's a thing no matter where you are in Penn State.
Wait, what?
You go, we are Penn State, we are Penn State, we are Penn State. Thank you. And then everyone yells, you're welcome.
Oh, interesting.
That's a thing you can do walking through the quad, or at the football game we went to, you're just walking, drunk people are yelling it, everyone's screaming it. It's what they do.
Interesting.
I mean, I've been a Penn State fan since I was a kid, so my dad used to take me to games. But it's definitely a community, and people love that environment. Happy Valley is a unique place.
Interesting.
Anyway, the other thing I wanted to bring up, you talked about Facebook. Did you guys see my post?
No.
And I'm sorry, I'm hijacking this.
On Facebook or on Instagram?
On Instagram about Facebook.
Oh.
So
no.
The Make-A-Wish Foundation group, they're now posting about how sub-2s, I saw another one this morning, sub-2s are now failing. So the one guy posted, he's like, and I'm assuming he got a call from the seller, hey, I sold a sub-2 wholesale like a year or 2 ago or whatever it was, and the guy has been failing to perform on it. What do I do to avoid it going into foreclosure or whatever, yada, yada, yada. And so, again, this morning I saw one where a guy logged in and he said, I personally sold my own home sub-2 to somebody. The guy was unable to refinance or sell it. Now I have to foreclose on him to get my house back.
Huh.
And I made a post about it, screenshotted it, obviously whited out the person's name who posted it, and I made a post and said, this is exactly what I've been talking about, because when I was an agent back in like 2009, 10 or whatever it was, and I was meeting with people who were getting foreclosed on that didn't understand that they hadn't really sold their house. And I get it's a paperwork and a thing, and that someone's going to argue with me that if you explain to them. But again, a lot of these people don't understand. They think they abdicated their responsibility to it. But the problem is, if that guy does stop making the payments, it's the seller getting foreclosed on. And that's the thing. And the one guy who posted this morning who sold his own home, he goes, I guess it's my fault for not really understanding what I was doing and having the right paperwork and having a full understanding of this. But like, anybody got advice? What should I do? Type thing. And I was like, and so it begins. You can't refinance because rates are so high and prices have gone down. I talked to 2 PPL leads in that exact situation, wanting to sell, but the price their home's worth now versus what they paid in 21, they can't sell it. You got to short sale it or get foreclosed on. Multiple people behind on their mortgages that I've talked to. And now this sub 2 thing. If you can't refi or sell it, what do? You paid too much in 21 for it. There was no equity when you bought it. The tenants have now left. You're carrying the mortgage, but you yourself don't have cash reserves because this was your easy way to get into rentals. What do? You say F it, you wipe your hands of it, and you hope you don't get sued.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see if there's legal ramifications that people can start to figure out for these sub 2 people.
Here's the thing when it comes to legal, and I'm not an attorney, but I learned one thing when I thought about suing somebody.
Yeah.
Money to sue somebody, and if
Is it end up worth it?
And that person that you're suing, if they don't have money,
you're not
what
gonna
are you
get
really? Yeah, what are you suing them for? A judgment? You're going to garnish their wages? Good luck with that. So again,
they need the sub 2 deal to garnish their rate, to make their wages that you're going to garnish.
Yeah. And so that's the thing. And the problem is, although as a wholesaler you sign over your rights and legal obligations, don't for a second think that if someone does sue, you're not getting named in that as a party to the suit. Not an attorney, speak to your attorney. I'm just saying you're still in that chain, bro. No matter what you did, the people thought they were selling it to you. You may have assigned it, but they contacted you.
I mean, you're the name they know.
So I've started seeing that, and I've got so many DMs when I posted that about people laughing and saying, "I knew this is why I stayed away from it."
Is this just the beginning, you think?
Oh,
like
yeah.
time-wise, just because that's where people were getting deals at the end of 2021 into
2021, 2022. I think obviously, not every instance is like this, and if you have cash reserves and you can carry that, that's not what I'm talking about. But we're entering a time where groceries are high, credit card debt is high, people losing jobs. Another company in Florida is laying off workers. Like, yeah, people can't pay their mortgage. It's happening. And sub 2 people, they underwrote it based on I could get X rent, but they didn't probably take into account vacancy and how they were going to pay a $2,000 mortgage on maybe it was a $2,800 rent. That renter leaves. You've been saving $800, or have you been spending it?
Right. Yeah.
And if you didn't save every dollar of it and they leave and you got to carry 2 months of that mortgage.
Rough times.
So what do? Not my mortgage, not my problem. Good luck. And that was what I saw of why I was always leery of sub 2s, because in 2010 and all that, I sat down with people at their kitchen table and they did not know that they were getting foreclosed on. And I had explained it to them because I worked for the banks. And I was like, well, here's what's really happening.
What does that person do then? What did you advise those people to do whose place is getting foreclosed on where they thought it was sold?
Well, I didn't give advice. My job back in the day was, as we were doing cash for keys, deed and lose, all them houses taking. Did you lose me?
We did.
We lost
cash for keys, and then something, deed for something, and then nothing.
Yeah.
What's cash for keys?
Am I cutting
You're
out?
good now.
So like if you had tenants in there or renters in there, and I'm mixing my stories, but so a lot of the instances where there was a renter inside, the person who got the house, like I'm thinking of one in Plant City, the person who got the house wasn't making the mortgage payment, but they were collecting the rent. So then I had to talk to the actual owners and the tenant to give a cash for keys for the tenant to get them out, which is basically you give me the keys and vacate the property. I'll give you like $600 or whatever the bank approves to get you the heck out. So that way we don't have to go through an eviction and do all this stuff because we want to get this property listed because they've been through this foreclosure type of process.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And a deed in lieu is essentially like deed in lieu of foreclosure. I meet with the seller, and instead of going through this, you just sign over the deed to me. It's all unique instances depending on the scenario of what's owed, what's not, whether they're living in there, whether it's vacant, whether they want to fight it, whether they believe they could keep their house, whether they're trying to catch the payments.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean,
You're getting foreclosed. The thing is, in the end, you tell them you're going to get foreclosed on. Like, this is going to happen
mm-hmm.
unless you have X amount of money.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to see how it all blows up and what happens to more economic constraints.
Short sale possibility.
Mm-hmm.
Some people were posting that apparently interest rates are getting cut like a few times next year, or at least people are giving inclinations towards that.
I believe that. Well, I think we all know they will because next year is an election.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they will do what it takes to make the economy look like it's good. But I think we all know that the economy is not good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, bro, I saw a meme yesterday where it said, what was it? A review of the most expensive vehicle in America. And he's in a parking lot, and he took 2 steps to the right, and it was a shopping cart.
Yeah.
And he started pretending he was doing like a walk around on the shopping cart to give you a review of the most expensive. And it's true, the most expensive vehicle in America right now is a fucking shopping cart that you have to fill up.
Mm-hmm.
And help. So Carlos, yeah, I saw it was 4 cuts last week. There was prediction that the Fed was going to do 4 interest rate cuts, and then this week it has now changed to 6 interest rate cuts expected in 2024.
I don't understand. I mean, I know it's an election cycle, but isn't that just going to make inflation worse? Right?
Hey, and for my next magic
that's
trick,
my basic economic knowledge.
Yeah, and for my next magic trick, let me give you 3 $600 checks, but then increase the cost of food by 100%, increase gas by $1.50, and then watch you not be able to afford anything. But I gave you a $600 check, thinking that wouldn't flood inflation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so yes, that will happen. Prices will go high again on houses. People won't be able to afford them.
And he's cutting in and out again. Just deep thoughts there. Now he's back. Yes, it's not going to be great, is what we ultimately all will realize.
It's wild.
I mean, sometimes you just got to let something fail and fix itself, right? Not try to keep holding it up.
I believe in buying assets. I do. And I am still buying mobile home parks, but my cycle, I'm looking so far down the road on these, and I'm not selling. And I'm covered on what I'm doing, and I'm also doing seller finance.
Mm-hmm.
But the people out there saying you should buy now because when rates go down, the prices are going to go so high. It's a dangerous game, man. It's a dangerous game. I just don't think people have been through the cycle. What goes up must come down.
Yeah. Just trying to predict the future is not smart. At least the short-term future, right? Like, I think when you start to say, what's it going to look like in 10 years, that's a different conversation. But you're like, next year.
Yeah. Bro, who can even afford a house right now? I mean,
people.
I know everyone's saying there's pent-up demand, but, like, people are losing their job and groceries are expensive, and now it's Christmas time. People got to buy gifts. Credit cards are already extremely high. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
The only people saying that it's going to be okay are the extremely rich real estate investors who have a jaded view on what actual people are going through.
Yeah. I haven't heard any reports. Was Black Friday like the biggest it's ever been? I was curious if this year we'd saw.
Extreme disappointment is what I heard.
Okay, that's what I was wondering, if like we were start to see people spending less money this time of year versus other years.
I saw that the stores weren't as packed. The lines were not existing in a lot of places where they used to be. Like, I was watching videos. I mean, I don't know how true it is, but I mean, it makes sense, right? And then, like, I was reading these articles. One person was writing that the reason why is because we have once again flooded the market with all these things. So now it's Black Friday. It's the sale before Black Friday. It's Cyber Monday. It's like, why is
Amazon and Target did stuff like what, 3 weeks before Black Friday?
And then all the videos of the stores getting blasted for changing prices before Black Friday to be the prices that they were before Black Friday. And it's like, I just
Yeah.
don't think people are willing to go spend their money on this crap anymore. Not like it was back in the day when you woke up early and my mom, I
It was
remember
the
my
only
mom and
day.
grandma they were heading out early. They had to get Christmas gifts that day. They braved the malls on Black Friday. I don't even think people go to the malls now.
Yeah.
Mhm.
With Amazon, there's always just deals going on. Like there's all
Yeah.
like your front page, you just see like discounts, and that automatically makes you think like, oh, I'm getting a good deal. I'm gonna buy. I'm gonna have a higher tendency to buy. But then also they have like Amazon Prime days, like randomly, like in July, like a few times a year, I think,
Yeah.
Yeah, I
or
did
certain days.
all of my shopping online. I didn't go into a store.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. That's what I think we'll be pretty close to that this year.
Mhm.
Occasionally order online, pick up in store.
Yeah, and I don't mind going. I love the stores, dude. That's not what I'm saying. I love it. But again, I'm
It's
not
not
going to the
convenient.
store. Yeah, I'm not going to the store on Black Friday.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
people don't have the money.
Mm-hmm. It'll be fun to look at that in January and just see what kind of consumer spending was like
What
compared
are you
to
seeing,
previous
like,
years.
not just consumers, bringing it back to real estate? I mean, it's like, everyone wants to always wait for stuff. Like, are you guys seeing sales on your products going, Carlos? Like, how's that looking for you? Like,
Slower. I mean, it's slower because it's that time between like Thanksgiving and Christmas
Mhm.
where people are either like not doing work or there's something in their head that tells them signing up for this product, if we're talking like SaaS specifically, is going to take like a certain amount of time to onboard. And I know that there's Christmas and New Year's coming up. So some people kind of fall in that limbo. Definitely listener of the show and follows Investor Fuse, just signed up. One of the last guys that signed up, a really good guy, was probably 600 days of till he closed. he coincidentally just signed up a couple days ago, so in the kind of like this holiday lull. But yeah,
nice, congrats.
definitely a little slower
Yeah,
overall
we
for sure.
always historically see November and December as slower months.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, people have this mindset, right? Like, and to me, I don't get it. Like, I just signed up for 3 PPL companies. Like, I
Yeah.
don't give a shit. Like,
Those service providers are like, oh damn, this guy's legit. Let's get
yeah,
this guy's
yeah.
getting leads.
Like, and I'm like, the one guy was like, yeah, depending on you funding the account, I'm like, bro, I'm ready to go like right now. Like, let me just fund. I'll put this X amount in. Like, he was like, oh, because he goes, you need to have as much as double the cost of one lead. And I'm like, nah, bro, like, let's put my marketing budget to work. You got to spend money to make money. I want some fucking leads, dude.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I don't get that. And like sellers. So it's funny. I don't have a lot of information to make this claim with certainty, but the difference between my cold call leads last year,
Mm-hmm.
right? I would get a lot of, well, call me in the new
Because
year.
they don't have as much motivation. I'm predicting what you're about to say. Keep going. And he's
Percent, but so
There you go.
far on these PPL ones, I haven't had one person tell me that. No,
Yeah.
not even the ones like I turned 2 people down yesterday. I told you that, right? I couldn't help them because of like the cost of their home. I'm not doing short sales. Like I'm focusing on what I'm focusing on. Not one of them is like, well, yeah, I filled out the info, but I want to wait till next year. There's
Right.
motivation levels, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's all about the motivation, right? Cold call people. Like they have some pain, but it's not to the point where they're now proactively reaching out, which is what the PPL leads. Like they are generating an inbound response from people who have pain and are looking for solutions. So I could definitely see those leads type working better in the holiday seasons.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, which is why I wasn't afraid to. I mean, I had that gut feeling, right? Like, so I wasn't afraid to put my money to test it. But like, even maybe on cold calling, you could make an argument, John, like, well, hey, Brandon, like we find like with our leads, we promise them to close before and give them Christmas money. They need money for Christmas. They need, and you're right. Like if it's a vacant home, inherited, there might be those people that are like, yeah, give me money before the holidays. Like I want that money now. But I agree with John. Like I think that might be smaller, but I could see the argument for that. But with PPL, they're reaching out saying, I need to do this.
Mm-hmm. Regardless of I've got Christmas.
Yeah, like I got to do this. Like that's what I need.
Yeah, it's an interesting time.
I don't know
I've
why
never really
people-
considered the lead differences. So like that I remember like what 4 years ago you took the whole month of December off. I remember
Yeah.
like getting that email and being like the office is closed for a month. I was like, what? How's
Yeah.
this work? But you
Yeah.
weren't doing it. You would still that was all outbound leads that you had. So it was really easy for you to just turn it off and
It was
knowing
just-
that
everyone
you know,
got paid. I did full payroll for everybody. I mean, we were making. I had a full in-office team. I had my call
Mhm.
center pumping. I mean, I just paid everyone their normal salaries or payroll or whatever, and we just took off. It wasn't the full month. I think it was like 3 weeks of the month.
yeah.
We worked that first month, and then it was just like, ain't shit happening, dude. We
Yeah.
had a couple deals, so the TC still worked. Like we closed it out, and I mean, listen, I plan on doing that again. Like as we rescale our team and stuff. December to me, I believe, is one of those months where you should have an elongated holiday with your family. So like the week before Christmas, I won't be here. And what I love
Mhm.
about PPL,
You
click,
just turn it off.
turn it off,
Mhm.
and I can go hang out with my kids and do crafts and all of that, and we'll pay everybody their normal shit. Now again, I still got to pick up the phone like if someone calls or
Yeah.
with our mobile home parks, there's never truly a break. Like I got to deal with stuff, but to me, that's not working.
Yeah. Agreed.
Love it.
Man, I wish SaaS software was like that. I mean, we
It could be.
I've just like kind of been planning the end of the year, and it's like it's a time when it is slower for sure. Like we don't have less customers using the platform, less inbound sales, and so we're taking it as a time to okay, let's focus on some operational stuff that we want to take care of. When and same with like product wise, it's like I built a sprint. It's called end of year wrap, and it's just like some random stuff that we want to take care of and not be too stressed about things and just take a little bit slower.
Yeah, I feel like at the end of the year, it's one of those things where you could go on a skeleton crew,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
just do what you do. But then there's the other argument of separation season. Everyone's slowing down. You ramp it up.
Dan Martell.
It's whatever you want to do that makes you happy.
Agreed. I agree with that for sure. Do what's gonna
But
make you happy.
I don't know, guys. Anyway, those are my thoughts. Hey, I just want to throw this out there. My software is getting released for my employees and transactions, so I am excited. I'm looking for beta users, and we're bringing people on probably in the next couple weeks. So hopefully,
That'd be exciting.
yeah, we don't get the whole I want to wait until January type of thing to try out a new cool software. But it definitely does help as you're doing all of these different things, keeping track of everything. And with employees, it's a very important thing to be able to track their paid time off, their hours working, and how much payroll they're making and commissions and stuff going into the end of the year. I think it's something that you want to get ramped up for 2024.
Yeah, I think that would be a cool thing to kind of head into the new year and be like, listen, team, this has been the question you asked me the most in 2023, so I found the solution.
Yeah. Yeah, they always ask, like,
when am I getting paid? When's this deal going to close?
Did you push that? Did you pay me, boss? Like, especially overseas people, like their banks may not have cleared. They don't know if we initiated the payroll. They don't know how much, whether that deal's closing or not. So our software solves all of that problem. It's a full end suite for your employees and HR, as well as transactions, tracking the transaction process all the way through from start to close. So your TC could be in it, as well as your operations and your HR employees. So
that will be exciting. I look forward to the LTRE episode where you demo that.
Yeah, I was thinking we should do like a demo episode or something like that. Instead of doing a webinar, we could just do a whole LTRE episode where I answer questions from you guys about it and stuff like that. That'd be a good idea, actually.
Yeah, that would be cool. Look for that in an upcoming Friday episode.
100%. All right.
Love it. Papa P doesn't take any days off.
I don't.
Your brain
Even
is
days
always
off
pumping.
Nobody does though, bro. Like I feel like if you run a business, even if your days are off, you're still working.
Mm-hmm. You're touching something.
Yeah, always.
And I feel like the only time I've taken time off was when I was dead sick a couple weeks ago, and I literally was like, I cannot do anything.
Carlos and I had to host it on our own. Yeah.
I know. That's
So.
yeah, same thing. Like usually even when I'm on vacation, it's like the brain's still moving.
Mm.
Well, guys.
All right. Well, that's
think
it for
that's-
this week's episode.
I think that's a wrap. Make sure you guys are following us on links.letstalkrealestate.tv. You subscribe to us on YouTube. And yeah, hope everybody enjoys their holiday season as you guys get into it more here in December. And we'll still be here on the Friday.
Stay warm. Stay warm. Enjoy your weekends.
Yeah.
Lock and load.
All right. See you guys.